Hey, what's going on, guys? Got another video here for you about Overprime, actually. There was some news released, at least some dev notes, and I wanted to go over them just basically to to point out the release date. So I'm going to kind of briefly go through some of these sections from the dev notes. I'll have it linked down below so you guys can actually click on it and read it yourself, but the most important thing is they kind of like talk about where they're at, what stage they're at, and what their plans are going forward. So it's not really a release date, but it's like a pseudo release date. Kind of like we get the idea that we might get it, Q3 or Q4 is what it's sounding like for early access, maybe even sooner if we're lucky. So we're in the third quarter now, so actually I guess it is going to be Q3. I forgot we're in June already. Time's flying. But yeah, I'm just going to go over some of these notes basically in this. So let's get started. So basically, he's thanking everyone for participating in the beta. They were discovering a bunch of issues, like known issues. They wanted to identify certain key elements. The key elements were interesting. Game characteristics, which for this one, I'm assuming they're talking about like the way the game flows and it not being fun enough, which I know they mentioned here somewhere, or they talk about it not being fun, but we'll go through that. Optimization, which optimization was a pretty there were some issues, but I think overall it was pretty good. I don't think there was that many issues. At least with the game itself, yeah, there were some stability issues every now and then. But for the second beta, I think it was pretty well performed. I didn't play the first beta too much, so I don't know what the difference was. But I don't know. Like I said, it feels really good. I had no issues personally. The biggest issue was ping issues when the server would be deselected automatically when you launch the game, or when someone joined your party who was who just launched the game, it would select that server. But that was a completely separate issue, which they fixed. So, yeah. Identifying server and matchmaking issues found in the first CBT. That was saying this is what they prepared the second CBT for. And then testing server stability and newly implemented methods in various locations. So they said that there was over 76 locations for the CBT, basically where the servers were, or for the servers to connect from. So they had a large pool of players. Most of the players I know were in Asia for this test. I hope it doesn't turn out to be one of those things where this game's only popular in Asia, like Naraka Blade Point, which is mostly popular in Asia, right? You get over 100,000 players a day, but what is it, 5,000 of them are American players. So hopefully that's not the case with this game, because this is, I'm really excited for this. And I don't want this player base to just shrink in NA, and I want there to be an esports scene or tournaments, that you can run. I don't even know if Paragon ever really had something that was super strict like that. I can't even remember if there was any kind of competitive team for Paragon that was official, not community run. I know that there had to be something because there were top players on the leaderboards, but I don't know if that they necessarily played in tournaments all the time. Another esports basically, or if it was a fan run thing. So about game characteristics. After internal discussion, the team was able to identify both positive aspects and weak points of the game. We received a lot of mentioning that the game is fun, so saying the game is fun. That the game's quality, the completeness and art, and is underwhelming and internal. So the art underwhelming? I don't know about that, man. The art seems pretty okay. The models for everything, the designs are really good. It looks visually really good to me. The portraits, I feel can be fixed up. That's any game. I don't really have that much. I don't know what flair you're looking for. It's just a character portrait, but I would like it to look pretty cool. I don't know if they're going to do a whole redesign for the characters. I would like some cool skins if they're going towards that, but this is something that's super far in the future. They can launch the game not worrying about this at all. Yeah, the flair of the game, it can bring players in if the design is really well and it's really well put. The UI specifically, design wise, not structured wise, looks really good. People care about that. It might be really enticing. After reducing the size of the game stability and opposition have received positive reviews. Nice. Yeah, room for improvement. Highlight. So basically talking about improving optimization, and then kind of containing more information for players in certain aspects. Tutorials need to contain more information. I think this is a problem that every MOBA has. I don't know if I found a MOBA yet that does this perfectly right, because the way the game plays is always different from what you can get the general idea of how the game plays, but you don't understand the flow of a MOBA unless you play a MOBA. I don't think any new player is going to know unless they look something up. So if you just download the game, never knowing what it is, not knowing what it is, and never playing a MOBA before, you're gonna be lost. I unless they do some kind of like video link to someone who's actually playing the game, or like does a rundown of the game and they force you to watch the video, I don't think this is gonna like, there's, or the, it can be optional, you can skip it, but I don't know. This is I don't know. This is a hard one to tackle. So I don't know how they're gonna address this. I wonder if this is gonna stall the launch of the game at all, trying to like make it new player friendly, which I have to say that I'd rather them do. I think being able to if this was more of a game that's seen as a more casual friendly than other MOBAs, I would be 100% okay with that, because the MOBA genre is a like, it's a hard niche to get into. It's a hard genre to like enjoy because the toxicity surrounding it with players not knowing, what to do, and then just in general, the learning curve, I feel like is, it shouldn't, I don't think it's that high, but it can be, which I think is a big issue, as opposed to, logging in, playing a, like Call of Duty or something, all you do is shoot people. It's super simple, versus mobile, which has a lot of complex layers to it, like other games do as well, but this one is like, known for that. So hopefully they can address that, and, it invites new players constantly. In order to establish a higher level of position, we're going to partner with experts in this field. I don't know what they mean by this. Partner with experts, like Netmarble specifically, because this is Team Solive, right? They're like the creators, and the publishers are Netmarble. So I'm curious on what they mean by that. Who they're going to partner with, experts in this field? Are they just going to get like talent from different orgs, or just a higher level degree of individuals that are capable of helping with optimization? I'm curious. Identifying server and matchmaking issues. These elements have seen improvements since CBD1. They're just going to improve server and matchmaking issues. So the thing about matchmaking with the betas was there was no special queue, like, or, there was only quick play, and there was no prioritization for like 5 stacks versus like, other people, because you can tell when people were like, 5 stack, or you'd see them on like Twitch, right? Like, like someone would be live, they'd be like, hey, go check out my channel. You'd see that they're in a 5 stack and you're sitting there by yourself, and the other person says, I'm alone. It's just kind of weird. Like, I get it, it was beta. I'm not expecting perfect matchmaking at all. It would have been nice to have like some kind of, variation, I guess. At least disparity, but there wasn't a lot of players. I guess that was like the biggest thing. Like there was only 11,000 the first day. So it is most important that you get the games going. I think after a minute it should just like be scrap. I think the first minute of loading should just be like, or maybe even first 30 seconds should have been like trying to find non 5 stack, because every game could have been piled upon, like, against you. Right? I was like, this is pretty weird, but again, it's a beta. They're going to fix these things. They've said it, they've addressed it. That's, on their list. Yeah. Testing server stability and newly implemented method in various locations. The maintenance performed during the second CBT was to test a few theories and changes. So they did a maintenance for a character as well as other things. Now, I don't know what they're talking about with this maintenance, but the first big maintenance I remember was when Narbash was added. They added a character during a beta, which was crazy to me. So I guess they also did server stability fixes as well during the beta. But like I said, I didn't have those issues. But, maybe that's just me. Collected information from various regions in Middle East, Southeast Asia particularly. We found very positive indicators, just as we did in the main server. So the team is making sure we take time to thoroughly compile, organize, and analyze player feedback. So basically, they're talking about here the positive impact of the maintenance they did during the second CBT. I'm not sure exactly when that was, but apparently it helped them, and they're going to further trying to make it, more stable. Great. Improving in-game art and aesthetics. Again, not really. This is I don't know. This isn't really that big of an issue for me, but whatever. Like, I mean, early access will come out. I don't care if the art's fine-tuned. It'd be nice if it was, but definitely not on the priority list. I'm more focused on game performance and optimization and stuff like that. Enhancing game characteristics. This one's interesting. Okay, hero and item expansion. Team has spent a past few months improving the back end efficiently, reviewing the game balance through statistics, and we've seen some positive results. Nice. We have seen preparing for the live game release for months. So we have been preparing for the live game release for months. So is this talking about early access or the actual game? And what do they mean they've been preparing for it for months? So we know it's going to come out in 2022. Is this coming out of early access quickly, or do they mean early access? I think they mean early access this one. See, it says live game release for months. Now we're getting ready for early access by adding heroes and items. Why do they address early access and the live game differently? Are they planning on launching the game this year? Is what it makes it sound like. That'd be a little crazy. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this just stays in early access. Or it'll probably be live, and it's, like every other MOBA is in beta. it's probably going to be like that because they're still going to revamp, change, and redo every kind of like item in the game. So there'll still be updates. They won't just stop developing once all the characters are out. I doubt it. Um, but I'm interested to see if the game's actually going to launch this year. That'd be pretty cool. I feel like game launches are much bigger than early access because I also don't know if the early access will be free. I am actually unsure about that. I have to find more information on that. I wouldn't be surprised if you had to pay for it, but I hope not. That would, definitely divide the player base quite a bit in between paid and non-paid, where they just, can't get into the game. We are going to introduce a new hero and item combinations that will increase gameplay and excitement of possible strategies. Like guys, this was something that I was hoping that, I do hope they fix in general. New heroes, there's plenty of heroes from Paragon they can add. They're planning on adding. They're probably revamping a bunch. There's some in the works that were in the beta, like I know the Fae, she was hinted at. Um, I feel like there was a couple others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but item combinations is a big one as well because there was only one set path for DPS, which was like just go into crit. Crit was OP, and then certain tanks were pretty broken. I think warriors like Han and I don't know, just really Han in general, and I guess Grux to an extent. I think he was pretty strong too, but Han was pretty strong. Completely can murk down a carry given the right situation. Even with the full crit build, they did nerf I think some carries, but I don't know if they nerfed the actual crit items, which I think is a big thing. They do need to like either tone down crit to make other builds viable or buff other things. I also want them to add a ward slot. Most MOBAs actually don't do this. I think it's just Smite, but I really want a ward slot because buying that is essential. So it just has to be one person. You could buy wards and not suffer as much because it's not taking up one of your slots. On top of that, I hope they, like I said, add a bunch of heroes. I'm waiting for certain heroes from Paragon. If you guys play Paragon, you know who Greystone is, Aurora, Yin, or yeah, Yin. I'm waiting for those three specifically, and there's other characters too that are really interesting. But I'm really excited. I wonder how they're gonna revamp Sun Wukong, the guy, the character in every single game. But yeah, I'm really interested. I hope they release a lot on early access launch of new heroes that were not in the beta. Like there was not enough supports for sure. There wasn't really enough characters. There's like 3 warriors in the game. I think there was like 3 assassins, and I think there was 3 or 4 carries. Sparrow, yeah, there's like 4 carries. So and like 4 or 5 mages. Most characters can be flexed in different roles though. Like you can have a mage in the jungle if they have the kit to do so. Like Countess was a mage who can, she can be a mage for sure, but she can also jungle really well. Not a lot of flex for solo lane though. I feel like if you want a proper tank, it was just like didn't have a lot of options, especially with these characters. They picked pretty high damage solo laners in this game. Pretty odd. Like none of these 3 really are what I always played them in the jungle, never in the solo lane. So I was hoping for someone a little bit more tankier, like Terra or something, but whatever. Implementing ranked games and utilizing situational MMR. This is interesting. I don't know why. For me personally, I don't think ranked would be necessary the first week, but I guess there can be like a preseason ranked mode, but it's like you don't know how to play. I don't know. I know having various kind of like modes is important. I hope they don't split up a bunch of modes. I hope they have like an ARAM mode, a quick battle mode, and a ranked mode. That's all we need right now. Maybe like an option to do 1v1s, but for the most part, we don't need a lot of queues. The game, we don't know how popular the game is going to be. I think they should focus on the core game mode with quick battle and ranked, and that's it for now, and then see how it goes. Netmarble is a popular company, Netmarble is a popular company, so we will see kind of where they're going with this, but um I don't know, like I'm a little worried that they're gonna like make too many different weird modes. They only are planning on adding a ranked mode, which is fine. That's cool. People like ranked, they like to be competitive. Without a ranked mode, the game wouldn't have a stable kind of like player base. When the streamers are paid to play, they're gonna probably do ranked and try to place high, look really big. The people who are actually creating content in the game will keep trying to play this game and rank really high, and get into masters. Honestly, that's probably one of my goals is I'm gonna try to get to a ranked game, or a high rank this time. Most games I just kind of play super casually, but if I'm going to play this pretty hardcore, then I'm interested to see how they're going to do their ranking system. I feel like a lot of games, even Smite, which I play a lot, or League, struggles with the way the ranking system works. So I'm wondering how the MMR is going to be, and hopefully it's not going to be like a wide division. Like we're not going to have issues on the release where like you're fighting diamonds, or diamonds can never get into games because their matches take 20 minutes to load. But yeah, we'll see. Changing matchmaking logic. Yep, that is it. This is exactly what I was talking about up there. Matchmaking was just an issue. 5-player parties, fighting single player. There has to be some kind of like middle ground to eventually, if there wasn't enough players actually queuing for the game, that you need to just like, suck it up. But, hopefully they can fix this because it was really bad in the beta. It was very apparent. This is a huge change. So starting with 3 skills, force players to invade, which isn't true. I don't know where this came from. A lot of players did invade, but they would often die trying to get into the jungle because the team would rotate. At least even like, when I was fighting against a proper 5v5, it was constant rotations because the way the game flows, you all had your skills. No one's afraid to go in. You do not need to invade. I rarely saw this unless they're talking about like when you know how in jungle you clear the first 2 camps or 3 camps and then you go into the mid lane, then you would I'd always cut into their jungle if that's what they mean. But I think they're talking about level like 1 invades. I actually like starting with 3 skills. I thought it was really interesting, but this of course it was a little unbalanced. Like I said, some characters are just gonna be really OP in comparison because their level 3 is much stronger than someone else's level 3. So I think this is a good change, but it's a disappointing change. I was honestly hoping they would keep it. Not that big of a deal. Just got to play a little bit smarter. But interesting. So you can only use 1 skill at level 1. So that's interesting. This will make it a lot more balanced for a lot of people. So like, Revenant isn't dominating at his level 3 because he has his like, his flurry before anyone else. I think they could have just done a lot of scaling changes, but some people probably have really high CC in their kit. Like Chimera, I feel like would, just dominate. He wasn't in the beta, but at level 3, he just heal endlessly, and the other people would just have to try to deal with it. He doesn't need his ult to be that good. So it'd be pretty like, pretty oppressing him walking into the jungle and there's nothing you can do about him because he's healing and he does a lot of damage and he doesn't need his ult. And some people, need their ultimates. It's like, okay, well, now you got to play really carefully. You got to watch out for that level 1 invade because the guy has 3 skills and he can easily steal your buff. I get it, but whatever. But this is a really interesting change. I wonder how this is going to shake up the game. I feel like the game was always supposed to be really fast paced, at least from the videos, but the game just always took like, anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour with bad teams and anywhere upwards to 30 minutes with good teams. So I wonder how this is going to change the game. I feel like it's going to be a lot slower. I really want them to fix gold distribution. Supports need more gold when they have relic, their relic, the support relic. They should definitely get more gold. Only 1 person should be able to build that. The gold generation in general for teams that are behind should be higher, I think. Depending on the gold disparity, like if it's like a 10k difference, they should just be getting 6 instead of 3 or something. But I think that getting full build was a big issue. So changing the skill point usage only will make the game get longer, in my opinion. So I think the gold farm needs to be a little bit easier to like manage when you're behind, because if the only way you're getting a lot of gold is if you're getting a mass amount of kills. Farming isn't going to get you full build like instantly. Even if you farm and get no kills, you're going to need to go around the map and get the last hit. So I'm wondering what they're going to do about that now that they have this change, how the pace of the game is going to flow if they don't buff the gold farm. I don't know if it's in here, but hopefully it is. Simplifying the map. The team had multiple debates regarding the map's difficulty and overall feel. We wanted to review whether the map was too complicated to promote strategic and fun play. We came to the conclusion that the map needs to be simplified so the players can come up with their own strategies. Map design, jungle paths, and buildings are going to be simplified and optimized to be more intuitive and strategic. So it's going to be simplified, but to be more intuitive and strategic. I don't understand how the simplification will be, offer more strategy, but that doesn't really. That's kind of contradicting, right? Just clashing, codes right there. Just in general, like strategic and simplify is just whatever. But the jungle was a little weird. Sometimes I try to walk out of the jungle. It just felt really odd to walk through. So I am actually, I would advocate for this change. Hopefully that it's just a little bit easier, kind of the path. Because, when especially starting out, sometimes it was just like, wow, like once you knew where to go, you knew where to go. But it felt really awkward sometimes trying to walk around certain places. It really is a problem, I think, when you started on the right side going out, or even the left side going out, because there was always there's always the verticality to it, and people can like look down from the top, and it was always weird trying to figure out where exactly to go because you'd see a ledge but you can't get to it, so you have to go all the way around. You think there's and then you get stuck in like a little corner, then you have to walk around and go up the stairs. It was very awkward. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that. Adjusting hero and item balance. Yep. I mean, people just I, I mean, Han wasn't used at all, probably. I'm wondering, I hope they released the charts for the beta on who was the most played, because I never saw a single Han, and I literally dumbed. You guys can check out my channel. I have so many, I have like, I think 2 or 3 videos of Han, and I was absolutely just, like, every game was just an absolute stomp. It was never even close, right? So I'm curious to see on what the, like, hero kind of, like, balance was, like, or, like, the pick rate. But yeah, they're going to balance heroes, which, they should. Item balance, yes, definitely. They just need more items as well. I think item balance is, I don't know what was the strongest items, but they need more, 100%. Um, they also need, I think, Toxic Blade or like anti-heal in the game, because healing was very prevalent. Like if a carry had a lot of healing, it was kind of hard to circumvent that unless you stun the crap out of them. As well as a shield buster item or a health scaling item, because health tanks were really OP, like Rampage, Chimera, when they built health, were just unstoppable, as well as Muriel was absolutely running the game. She broke the game. She was disgusting. She needs to be nerfed. Or there needs to be an item to directly counter her that, multiple roles could build, because she was too strong. Narbash was fun. He heals a lot, but those shields were way too big. She has too many of them, and they're too big. And it was impossible to kill anyone when she actually was around. She can shield her whole team. It was ridiculous. Implementing player feedback on game characteristics. They kind of already said this, so like I said, they're just taking player feedback for the characteristics. A lot of these points are overlapping, I feel. Cheating. So I'm not gonna go through all this stuff. This is just literally the way they're gonna handle this. This will always be changing. It was kind of funny watching them publicly post on Discord people's names. I feel like they should still do that, even though it's like, kind of BM. It was just kind of funny. They can, they'll figure out in action. Toxicity is really important though. They definitely need to try. I hope this is honestly like the least toxic MOBA. It probably won't be, but Pokemon Unite probably isn't, but it should be because it's super simple. Hopefully this is like, filtered really well to where it's not going to be like, first off, like, there's a profanity filter. It's not like you could say bad words in there. I think it was a little bit too strong sometimes, but honestly, like, when it comes to cheating and stuff, they seem to be on top of it. They seem to publicly shame and post people's, like, identities. So they seem to, like, they're not afraid to kind of out people and post list, which will discourage people from actually doing it, regardless if it's on the forum or on the Discord or on Twitter or whatever. But yeah, no, like I said, they can handle that. Hopefully this is handled well. Very important for new players, especially because if they see this stuff, they'll be very discouraged. So yeah, good job. An official release plan, which is the most important one. When the internal team is ready, we will run a brief test to check the information topic when we can provide early access for players. So I don't know what they mean by this, by brief test. Is it talking about, like, they say the internal team is ready, they'll run a brief test. They should already be running tests, so I guess they're still, like, coding in all the stuff that they just mentioned. So maybe they haven't, like, run actual gameplay test in full, which makes sense. And then they'll tell us when they can provide early access, which I'm super excited for. So they're going to be telling us about early access after their next test that they do. So we can, assume that it's going to be soon. Now, the next paragraph here, we are at the final polishing stage and are getting ready for the next phase, the official release. I still don't understand. They keep saying we are at the final polishing stage, official release, and then early access. Another time they mentioned it, it makes it sound like they're talking about the live game release, not early access. I think they're talking about early access, but I'm not sure. But like, they're talking about how nervous they are and how excited they are to see it. But they're saying they're at the final, the final stage of polish. So I'm super excited, which means we're almost there. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I am super excited. Probably as excited as them. Like, I've been waiting so long for this. I didn't think this was going to be the remake to, like, make it. But for me right now, this is definitely my favorite, more so than predecessor, which shocked me when I started playing this. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But yeah, I can't believe they're at the final step. I was hoping it was going to be within the next 2 or 3 months, which I think it's going to be. Like, it sounds like they're really close, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of delay, especially still because COVID's still a big thing. But I'm super excited. Like, wow, I cannot wait. Really hoping the game is a little bit more polished when it comes out, but like I said, I think it was fine to release as is, literally how it was, and then just fine tune things as time goes on. But I really need this. Like, I absolutely need this MOBA, this 3D like, you know, MOBA experience aside from Smite, and this is definitely it. Finally, we're at the end game right now. So I'm excited. So all right, that was a bit of a ramble, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, hopefully we get this soon. I'm not sure when my next video would be. I still, like I said, I want to do that Overprime Q&A. But yeah, early access is on the horizon. I'm super excited. It looks like it's just around the corner. Hopefully within the next 2 to 3 months, maybe sooner. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.